Hello and welcome. Today we've got this Makita DGA452. This is a different type of video. I'm going to talk about why this is sort of a legendary little grinder and why in some ways it's not so legendary. Right, here we are in at the workbench now, and the battery on this little beast, This grinder has been around for years. It's an 18 volt Makita. It's brushed. It's older tech. It's got a high failure rate, but despite these inadequacies and flaws, it's still a fan favourite. Is this worth buying in 2025? Why would somebody buy this in this day and age? Let's find out. As a salesman by day and a keen amateur repairman in my spare time, I see both sides of the coin. I see these selling, and I also see them come back for repair. Over the last maybe 3-4 years, I've been repairing a lot of these. I've seen a lot of these in for repair, and it's nearly always the same issue. This one has the same thing. That's running slow. They either start to run slow or they stop altogether. So the positives that I see, first up, really the compact size. It feels nice in your hand. It's light. It's actually short. Makes it ideal for tight spaces and those sort of little jobs that you don't want the big long grinder that's maybe out to here, So it's a perfect grab and go grinder for all the wee small jobs. And it's hard to deny that. The next thing I would say that it has in its favour, it's one of the cheapest cordless grinders on the market in the so-called professional range. I've often questioned the professional status of this grinder, but it's very commonly used by professionals. This is the LXT Makita range, which makes it in their professional range. So before we get all totally excited and we all get our wallets out and run out and buy this little grinder, I want to talk about some of the less favourable aspects, some of the things that made me question why so many people still buy this. We could start with the worst thing, I suppose, and that's a high failure rate. And that'll involve me opening it and showing what's wrong with this thing. Right, with this running slow, we would assume brushes, and we wouldn't be totally wrong. However, that's not the whole story with this. Makita and their older brush tools had one aspect that I liked as an amateur repairman. They had easy access to the brushes from the outside without opening the whole thing. But if we take this lid off, that's great. Access to that brush. You can pull this brush out, change it, whatever. That's wonderful. Until you encounter this problem. That brush will not come out in this one because that's melted. And it's even worse on this side because you can't even get in to get the lid off because the brush is melted through the plastic cap. So there's been a bit of heat there, and this happens to them all. I have never successfully just replaced brushes in these. It's always got to be the brushes and the brush housing, the end bell. I'll get that open to show you what I mean. The failure rate is a bit high, and also the positive to that is the positive to that possibly is these are very easily worked at. They're not hard to split. If you're into tool repair, it's a good little unit to start practicing on, in my opinion. So we'll get this open here. This open to show you what I mean. Here we are. There's been a little bit of heat there. I don't think the armature's too badly damaged. You usually have to replace the armature and this end bell. I'll try and get that lid off, which won't be easy. I've been trying for the last 5 minutes to try and get that off, but I don't think I'm going to waste any more time on it because it's not worth it, because I have to replace this whole plastic bit anyway. Possibly the armature as well, but that might be okay. That might be okay. I might have got away with it this time. It's a bit dirty. I don't see any real burning there as such. Clean up the armature, and I'll pull this on out till you get a better look. This is not sliding, and that'll not come out. So that's what's wrong. This part needs changed definitely. And that's the most common flaw that I see in these. I never have replaced the switch, and I've never replaced brushes only. The flaw that we pointed out is the failure of the bolt, really. So that's the beginning and the end of the flaws per se. This is the problem. The fact that they're a professional tool in 2025 that still uses a brushed motor instead of obvious, better brushless versions that could be designed. We live in a world of brushless motors, even down to DIY range, and a lot of power tools. So I don't understand why this can't be upgraded. Why can this not become one of the best, one of the market leaders, due to the compact size and with a robust brushless motor that will stand the test of time? So do you hear me, Makita? If you're listening, make a nice brushless version of this, and we'll be doing a different type of video. So we're going to carry out the repair now. After all that talking, we need this, like I pointed out, and we'll need new lids, and we also need the brushes, which are either these two codes will get you there if you want to order them online. Be careful ordering the aftermarket ones of these, however, because sometimes the brushes don't slide properly in them. I've had to give this a little bit of bend. I'm not buying any more of the aftermarket ones of these because I think Makita Genuine is best. The wires are heavier and everything. It's just not worth it for the few pounds you'll save. So the repair involves removing this altogether, cleaning up this fill coil because it's magnetic and it gathers up this sort of stuff here. We'll get that out with the airline, and greasing the head. A little bit of grease in the head does no harm. See if we can give the armature a little wipe, and we should be good to go. That's that cleaned up. Yeah, we'll just put it back in there. There's a nice little slot. If you're fixing this yourself, there's a nice little slot to fit into the body there. You have to line that up like that. And that's down in there now. The next stage is pulling out these two wires. And putting on these two wires. You set the housing in like so. Take the wires out of your way. believe it or not, at this stage you can put on the side. You just set on the side nice and, you know. Now if you wish, you can grease the head. I always like to put a little bit of grease on there. The next stage is put on the armature. This one's a little bit dirty, but it's not too bad. We'll just put it on, and it should be okay. So line that up. That should come down nice and flush. Then put on the head. Like that. Put in the screws again. Next steps, they throw in the brushes into the wee brush holder side here. There's two little things that they push into, you know. That should push down flush like that. You don't need a lot of force when putting on these caps. You do, however, need to make sure that she's on the proper thread. You know, she's lining up the thread properly. Like I say, don't over tighten. You can break those. Do the same on the other side. Same thing. Same thing. Push that in. And if you still have them, these little lids go on then. She'll go without them, but it tidies the thing up somewhat. That's it rebuilt now, so I'll just slam on the battery to see if we have a good result. Yeah, pretty happy with that. So, with all that, is this still worth purchasing in 2025? If you need something powerful and reliable for heavy use, this is not your grinder. Makita have brushless grinders. They're longer and a bit more awkward for wee jobs, but they're really nearly bulletproof compared to this. So if you need something powerful and reliable for heavy use, this is not for you. But if you're just a step up from DIY, or just don't care about the failure rate and like just the convenience and handiness of this tool, just buy it. And don't abuse this little thing, because it'll not take it. It'll just not take it. In short, it's a handy little tool, but you have to know its limits. If Makita ever release a brushless version of this, it will certainly be a winner in my book. So I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments section. What do you think of this little grinder? And if you have it, what's your experience? So If you like this video, please like, subscribe and comment, and check out my channel for all my other videos.